Hey guys, welcome back. Well, let me show you what I'm going to do here on the combine. This is on the R72. You see that bar? Oh, maybe it can't hard to see from over on this side, but it kind of sticks out right there at the edge on each corner of the cab, going right across there like that. That is a light mount. And sure enough, with an older machine like this, they still have the old halogen lights, and running a 35-foot head, not normally are we able to cut beans once it starts getting dark because we get a lot of dampness and that kind of stuff coming up out of the ground. But the old halogen lights just did not cut it. And so here several years ago, I set up, I'll climb here and show you, a bar right across the top of the cab up here to mount 3 light bars on. And it made a world of difference. And then I've also got, I switched over, I put 2 small bars right there, and the same thing over on that corner. I'm running approximately 225,000 total light lumens, and so I can light up Mars for NASA. But I'm going to show you here what I do and get those lights put up there. Got one of my big lights here. I got you on top of my head, that way I can climb up that ladder and get it set up there. So let's get going. If I remember right, these light bars are 52-inch. And you don't see many like this around. These are actually they're a quad row. They actually have 4 rows of LEDs inside. And according to all the information, they are a 80,000 lumen light bar. It's always a lot of fun when you're on top of a 12-foot ladder and it's kind of wiggly. Hey, if we fall, just make sure you hang on to something. Okay, that's how I do it. Just set them right there like that. Now, I will be taking this angle and tipping it down. But this light bar here, I actually take and mount on the front of the 4955 for springtime. And I've got wiring hookups back there. I'll be showing you those after a while. But yeah, that's what it looks like. I got this one over here, and it blasts out across this corner. I've got a smaller middle one that I put right there. It's 50,000 lumen. And then another big 80, identical to this, that goes on that corner. And so I'm gonna get the small one. We'll get the small one mounted right there. Right here's the one I keep from the middle. And same thing, it's a quadra. It's got 4 rows of lights in it. When you're doing something like this, because when I was setting this here up, I got checking out, and I thought I'm gonna have to take and loosen that up. We'll be right back. Got my wrench. If you're going to set something like this up, you got to make sure you have plenty of capacity, amperage-wise. And when I set this up, I put a 200 amp alternator on the combine. And I ran additional wiring from the alternator. It had a 6-gauge wire that ran from the alternator to the starter. And I ran additional wiring from the alternator off that same post, along with the 6-gauge, to the starter. That way, have plenty of amperage capacity. Because after doing some research, I think these are called like an 800 watt light bar, the big ones. And once I started running some numbers, and I talked to another combine guy, come to find out, these here pull close to 30 amp. And so, yeah, you got a lot of pull there. That's why you got to have a big alternator. Well, I'm going to move my ladder on over, and we'll get the outside one on, and then I have all the bars mounted. There we go, last bar. Now this bar here I don't use on anything else, and you can see it's already tipped down. I just need to grab a zip tie, that way I can tie that up. And then set my harnesses up going back across the top of the cab, and that'll have that. But yeah, that's what it looks like going across there. And there are actually two, yeah, there they are, two cab bolts that go through the roof, and I actually just use those to tie this bar on. The bar is 1/2 inch thick, and then I put some angle on the back of it to help strengthen it up even more. And it works pretty good that way. Had to grab another wrench to hold the top, and that'll have this in here tightened down. Now I have seen some guys take and they'll mount like a light bar here underneath the cab, but I've also seen where they have said that it can actually like reflect a lot of the dust right back in your face. And so up here, you're shining down more into it. And so I've never had that kind of trouble. I've also seen other guys take and replace the halogens with like a Larson or Tagger lights. However, those are insanely expensive compared to what I got here in these. And so I just left these here. These here work great for when you're driving down the road. You can shut these here off, turn your main headlights on. It's not near so bright for cars coming at you, but yet you can still see good for going down the road. So I'm going to jump over and tighten up that one over there. All right, that's got the right hand one. Now we're ready to start setting up the wiring harnesses back there. And like I say, I'll take this light and the middle light and adjust the angle, that way they're angled down just like the left one over there is, and be ready to roll. Right there's what it looks like from the ground. Maybe I'll take and once I get the wiring hooked up, I can take and shut the shed doors down and make it dark inside here, and I'll turn them on, that way you can see them. But yeah, like I say, I think it might have been like the following year that we had this thing, in 2019. But if I remember right, that was the year that I think we had we were trying to finish up a field, and it got dark on us, and that's when I found out that those halogen lights just did not shine out very well running a 35-foot head. And so I think it was in 2020 is when I set these lights up here on top of the cab, and it's worked really good that way. And I had a guy on a Gleaner Combine group comment that with that much light I could light up Mars for NASA. I'm not too sure about that. However, I can tell you one thing, it lights things up. And running these smaller lights down here really light things up as well, because I got the two center ones that kind of shine down this way for you to get the middle part of the head. Then you have the outer ones here that shine more out on each side. And so it really works nice. But I'll show you here getting the wiring harnesses set up, and then I can turn them on. All right, I'm up here on top of the cab. And let me show you here how I set it up. These wiring harnesses have a relay and then a switch on another harness that I run down into the cab. But for my power, I have 10 gauge wires right here. When I got the wire, all I could find was red wire. And so I've got it labeled with tape, red, black, red, black. And so this set of red and black hooked to one battery, this set of red and black hooked to the second battery, and this set of red and black here hooked to the third battery, because the combine's got 3 batteries on it. And so what I always do, just so there's no chance of hot and ground touching, is I always take some pieces of rubber and wrap around it. That way it's insulated good. Yep. Well, it would help if I grabbed the right size wrench. Okay, I grabbed the right size wrench. I wasn't even paying attention. I just grabbed up some wrenches and jumped up here. There we go. But yeah, like I say, setting up like a little dock like this, it works pretty good. And that way each light is on its own circuit. And then back by the batteries, I have automatic resettable breakers. And then, like I say, I take that piece of rubber and pop right over top that positive. If I can get that bolt stuck through there. And that way it can't touch anything. And so it's insulated and good to go. Although it kind of acts like that zip tie is just a little bit tight because it's not wanting to let that if you do it just right, you can take and pop a zip tie apart and reuse it. Just gotta get that little piece popped up. There we go. There. Okay, now that we're all the way on, I can feel that bolt. It's right in between the 2 zip ties. Can I pull that down? And just like that. Now I'll grab the other harness, hook in there, be good to go. Here's the third harness. There's that relay I was talking about. I just tuck it underneath that piece right there. And we do the same thing. I always take and sandwich these between 2 flat washers on each side. That way it's good and tight. Put the little nut back on. Okay, positive is done. Jump over here on negative. And like I say, this is why you always want to take and make sure you got plenty of amperage regarding your alternator. And not just your alternator, of course, the battery wire coming off your alternator. Take and add additional wiring to that. That way you don't overload, just if you have only just, which pretty much everything has just one single wire coming off the alternator. And so you just simply want to take and add additional wiring to that. Okay. And it looks like I'm going to have to open up that zip tie also. I thought I had left them open from before, evidently not. Well, okay, that one did pop in. There we are. Like I say, I just take it, that's actually an old chunk of inner tube rubber, wrap around there like that. It's not going anywhere. It keeps insulated. Done deal, simple as that. And so, okay, right there are the 3 switch harnesses going down. I'll put them in the cab. And then of course, the way this one right here, this harness here is for the middle light. And so, yep, pulled that one out. Take and run it up here and tie him in. Just like that. Okay, now this one right here is for the right hand. That one actually never has had a screw piece. It just simply plugs together. And now this one over here is for the left hand. I'll take and plug him in. Come on. There we go. All right, that's got that. And now generally what I'll do, that way if there's wind or something like that, it can't go and grab these harnesses and kind of want to flop them around top of the cab. I'll take them, run back here to the back, just like I've got that right there, and coil them up, and then take a zip tie and keep them held together. I gotta grab a couple extra zip ties, and that's how I do it. And so it works pretty good that way. And I can tell you one thing, I can see, well, either me and or if my brother's running the combine also, we can flip these lights on, definitely see what we're doing. So I'm gonna grab 2 more zip ties and zip these here together, and then we'll jump in the cab and I'll show you how I set it up in there also. Alrighty, here's the wiring harnesses, and I just simply take it around right through there. This open up this access door, and then I take and run the things over this way, and I actually hook them up on here from right to left. And so this here's the right light bar, this is the left light bar. And then the middle one, take and run it up over top the cab cam monitor, around in behind, and tie in right there. Yeah, like that. Sort of. If I can get to stay. Yeah, there we are. This here is actually the yield monitor bracket. And I never have gotten another yield monitor for this thing. This combine has ag leader on it. Right there's the pigtail plug. And I've been wanting to put a monitor back into it. I was hoping to get the ag leader in command 1200, but no, just had more important things, took top priority of buying stuff, so never have gotten one. If I remember, I think the salesman told me when we bought this machine that the previous owner it was either the Ag Leader Integra or the Versa in here. And because from what I've been told, I think the Ag Leader In Command 1200 has a different type of pigtail right there. It doesn't have that round deal. It may have a little different shape. But like I say, eventually I want to get another yield monitor put back in this thing. And so yeah, that's how I set those lights up, and I'll shut the big shed door down and turn them on, that way you can see them. All right, I just shut the big door down right there, as you can see. I left that west door down there open a couple feet, but the combine is actually facing that east side, so it's basically dark in here. Now I'm hopping into the cab right now. And let's see here. Here's middle. There's the middle light. There's the left one. And here's the right one. And then here are the lower light bars. And you can see it lights up so you can see what you're doing. Nice and bright. I actually have to take and get an old rag and take and clean up the lens on those lights. They're a little bit dirty yet, but yeah, it's got those lower light bars running. Let's jump out here and take a look. Yeah, there we are. And of course, when the machine's running, it'll actually be brighter yet because of the alternator running. Yeah, there we are. And so, yeah, you can see how it lights up out here nice, and you can see. And these lower lights, it's kind of hard to see on camera. On camera, it makes it look like it's dark right here, but not really, because these lower lights here in the center shining down, it does a good job. So yeah, just thought I'd show you how I light the combine up light things up at nighttime, and my custom lighting setup. Kind of plays with the camera a little bit when you're looking right into the light. Well guys, I think I'm going to call that an end of this video. So take care. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time.